Hi, this is Russell from Low Fruit Solutions, and today I'm going to be demonstrating the Pinterest integration feature of the Pro Blogger application. The purpose of this feature is really to enable your browsers, your readers of your Shopify blog to be able to onwards share your images into the Pinterest network, where they'll hopefully get repinned and repinned and repinned, creating effectively an SEO and traffic funnel back into your blog, right? Obviously, it'll all depend on how cool your images are, how often they get repinned, etc. But the purpose of this particular feature is to enable that as best as possible. We'll come more to the overall details of some of the features like rich pins in a little bit. But before we dig in, let's have a look and see what a blog without this integration will look like. So I have a demo store set up here. You can see it's currently obviously not live. It's one of our test ones, and in the bottom here, it's we're going to just go into one of our test blogs. So it's going to go here, pineapples for your health, and you can see that there's a number of texts here. We have an image. There's no pins available to it, and we have a pin at bottom here at the bottom. Now what that will do is we'll fire up a menu which would allow you to select images from this blog if you should choose. Right, so that's what it looks like before. So let's move on to the implementation side, right? So I'm just going to go to the dashboard here, right, and we'll go into applications. And you'll see here this is a UAT version of the application. The production one will not include the UAT. Same thing though, really. Right, just going to click on it, and this will fire up the app. And you can see all the features are currently disabled, including the Pinterest integration feature. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to expand that. I'm going to click enable, and I'm going to hit save. Now what this will do is we'll actually place the relative asset required to run this into the store, and then we'll have to move on to step 2, which what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this tab so we can look at the install instructions as well as what we have to do on the code side. So it's going to click install here, and I'm just going to create a duplicate tab. Right. Go back. So to complete the Pinterest, and for that matter the image caption install, or precursor to any of the installs, we basically have to follow this general install instruction, which I'm only going to borrow this part because we're going to go through it on the video. Right, so going back to the dashboard, if you click on online store, and you'll see that we go to the themes by default. We're just going to go click on the actions button here, select edit code. Now what you'll see is all your theme assets in this left hand pane here, and then the output on this right side. We're going to click on theme.liquid, and we're going to find right at the top here, you'll see there's the head section. We're just going to do a caret return. Just going to paste in that code that I just copied from the install instructions, right, which is the include for the Pro Blogger section wrapper, and we're going to hit save. And that is your liquid installation done for the Pinterest integration feature. So what does that look like on your store? So let's go back to the blog. I'm just going to hit refresh. Okay, it's refreshed, and what we're going to do is you can see now that when I swing my mouse over this image where it wasn't before, we now have a Pinterest pin it button that comes up, and that'll come across up every image within your particular article. Now what we'll see here is that it's also changed the default behavior of this button, so we don't want that, right? It's an unfortunate side effect of the Pinterest JS. So what we're going to do is, in most themes, this will be covered by the social sharing include, which you can find in your snippets. You see it's called social-sharing liquid, and you'll be able to go down here, and if it's not, it'll be similar sort of stuff, right? You'll see there's an a target equals, and then it'll include Pinterest.com, right? It's because it includes this path that it tries to style it exactly as the setting. So we're just going to exclude this by typing data dash pin dash custom equals quotes true space, right, don't need that, so you just see that there for a moment, and we're going to hit save. This is on the debut theme, by the way, but most use the same mechanism to do this, right? So we're just going to refresh, and there you go. That's now restored back to normal as it is a custom button. So let's go back to the settings of the application, right? So we're just going to go back to this tab here. Now, let's talk about what the settings do. It's pretty straightforward. What we have here is the shape and size of the pin, right? So what I'm going to just do is I'm going to change it to round, and I'm going to change it to a large pin, and I'm going to hit save. But before I do that, let's talk about what rich pins are and what these other options here are. Right, rich pins effectively don't just pin to Pinterest itself, they also include a bit of metadata, and I'll demonstrate what the difference looks like in a short while. Actually, why don't we do it now? Right, so here is Pinterest. Right, I've just gone to a page and to demonstrate the differences between two. So this here is a standard pin, right? And what you'll see is that it's got the image, and at the bottom it's got a visit button. Right, if we go back and we look at this one, see it's got the image, looks kind of the same, but what you'll find is there's a different button, and what it actually says is an article from, and usually it can also include additional metadata such when the time it was published, who wrote it, and these sort of things. And what the Pinterest integration portion of the ProBlogger will do is it'll take that information, and when you pin or when someone else pins things to their boards, it'll take that information with it. So if you click this, it would now take you directly to the article, and it's a good way to obviously to funnel people in who are interested in reading a little bit more about these things. In fact, I'd probably see more if I was logged in. Right, so let's go back and to the app. So what I'm doing is I've just changed the size, changed the shape and size. I'm just going to hit save. And we're just going to refresh this quickly. And what you'll see is now that's changed. Now we have a big round Pinterest pin button on this image, and like I said, you'd have one on every other image who was in here as well. So I could directly from here then click on this, and it would take me off to Pinterest to just I'll have to log in. But any user then would be able to, if they liked an image, on hover here, just quickly click that, and it would allow them to pin it to their board. As a store owner, it's actually very worthwhile to pin your own images within your own boards, because once they're in the social network of Pinterest, they can get shared. If they don't exist there, you're waiting for someone else to put them there. So it kind of helps to beat the gun, if you will, and post them yourself in your own boards, like categorized, etc., so that you can begin the process, right? To do that for your own board, what you will need to do is do a Pinterest website validation, which is generally what happens is you'll register as a business on Pinterest, and they'll provide you a validation code, which will look a lot like this to validate your domain. Now, you could edit your own code, place this snippet in a file in your assets, etc., or you can use the Pinterest integration strip here. You just paste it in, put with your domain in here, which will be in between these quotes, and hit save, and we'll do it all for you. Anyways, that is the Pinterest integration feature for ProBlogger. Hope you enjoyed the presentation, and thank you very much for watching.